I mean, who gets married thinking they're going to get divorced? Like, no one. Part of the reason why it was so important for me as a child of divorced parents to have a strong connection with both parents is that I lived a reality where all of a sudden one day one was gone, totally unexpectedly. To me, in my life and my career as a family law lawyer, I am always an advocate for two strong parents.
Like, divorce isn't necessarily the issue, right?
No,
it's
right.
how the parents handle the divorce that's really what affects the kids. I personally think the healthiest marriages and the ones that really last the longest are the ones that do have the hard conversations and are the ones that actually are very involved in finances and understanding like where you stand and God forbid something happens and are realistic.
Yes.
So I think that's the hardest part because my mom was that daydreamer telling me to get married. Someone will take care of you forever. And this bullshit romance novel that really, as a 54-year-old, like I've never seen that exist. What's the number one thing people come? Cheating?
There's a lot of infidelity, and there's no doubt that the divorce rate has spiked because of it. Oh, no doubt.
Why? So it really has gone up since that real burst. The damn fucking phone. Right. Hi, you guys. Welcome to Coming In Hot with Caroline. And today we have a very, very special guest, and I am so excited. So, if you've ever wondered what actually happens behind the closed doors of a Beverly Hills most intense, high-stake divorces, you're about to find out. My guest today not only is a good friend, she's an absolute powerhouse. She is a partner at the legendary firm Wasser, Cooperman, and Mandels. Yes, working alongside Laura Wasser, where they have supported huge clients. She has spent nearly 30 years protecting the assets, the children, and the sanity of the Hollywood elite and corporate powerhouses. So please welcome the brilliant, the fierce, and the wonderfully candid family law attorney, Melanie Mandels.
Thank you.
Hi,
so
Melanie.
happy to be here.
Melanie, first of all, Melanie's a friend, right? I very luckily got to meet through Monica. What's funny is that you are the sweetest, nicest, like you're just this incredibly warm, kind human being. And then you find out that she's this fierce powerhouse divorce attorney that you would never want to meet in an office, right? Or oppose. But it's true. It's like, I love the dichotomy of you. Like, I love that you would never know by looking at you how hardcore you are, and I love it.
So funny.
But it's true.
It's funny because I don't see myself that way.
You don't?
At all. No.
How do you see yourself?
I see myself as somebody who has a very difficult job and who works very hard at it and who helps people through really like the shittiest of shitty times. I mean, who gets married thinking they're going to get divorced? Like, no one. I mean, in fairness, some people do. I've written some
actually,
prenups
that's true.
Where the client's like, hey, don't send this one off to offsite storage. Like, we're going to be looking at this pretty soon. And you wonder why that person is going to go forward with marriage, but they do. So, but most people genuinely enter marriage thinking they're not going to get divorced. So it's shocking. It's like gut-wrenching. So to help people through that is a tough job. It's very fulfilling. It's challenging, but my whole life I've only done stuff that's challenging. I've never taken the easy road. No.
Tell us about, like, how did you get into family law? Did your parents get divorced? Like, what is it?
Oh my God, there's so many layers to that.
Ooh.
So, yes, my parents were divorced when I was very young.
Okay.
They had what I would classify as like the most ideal divorce. So I was an only child.
Okay.
And I was very young when they realized that their marriage wasn't going to work out. And so whatever shit they had gone through, like I didn't see it. It wasn't ever in my day-to-day. I've never saw my parents fight, never heard them raise a voice. Nope, never. I always felt like I was the center of their universe. You know, so I grew up knowing, all right, mom and dad both love me. Their marriage didn't work out, but their love for me never faltered. And so they were always 100% there for me, each of them. And I felt very supported and very loved.
They were never rude to each other and stuff like that, in front of you?
No.
Like it was amicable?
There were moments where I knew that they had tension. There was one really funny moment in my childhood that has stuck with me all these years where I must have been, 9 years old or so. I went through this phase where I only wore roller skates. Must have been so annoying to my parents. But I literally, I took my roller skates off to go to sleep. And
Melanie, I did not know this about you.
I rolled all around the streets of Los Angeles. I was like
you were a skater girl.
Oh, yeah. I went through multiple pairs because the wheels, I'd wear the wheels out. So I would just go through.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. I was I was a queen of roller. I knew like the best places to roller skate. I loved my friend. It was not just me. I wasn't like roller skating solo. I had a whole posse, So we would like
good to know there's a posse of roller skaters
around Westchester. And there was one time where I was really into like ice skating too. And Dorothy Hamill, do you remember the Dorothy Hamill haircut? So I had I have naturally curly hair. I had this long, naturally curly hair. And I had spent the weekend with my dad.
Oh no.
We used to do these errands. He used to call it the daddy in the mail team. We'd like run all of our errands together. And he had to get a haircut. So I went with him to the barber. I knew the barber. I would go with him to get haircuts, all the time.
I don't even know. This is bad.
And Tony, the barber, was like, oh, Miss Melanie, like one day I can, I'll cut your hair. And I was like, oh, I really, really want the Dorothy Hamill haircut. She's like, oh, if you want it. And my dad looked at me and my dad's like, yeah, okay, sweetheart. Like if you want to get a haircut, sure. I mean, Tony, do you have time? And Tony's like, yeah, I'll have time. Okay, Dorothy Hamill haircut. I come in from the weekend.
Melanie,
like my dad dropped me off on Sunday night or something. So I get out of his big car. I roller skate up to the front door. I walk in. My mom looks at me and she's like, oh, hi, honey. Like, oh, aren't you cute? What? And I said, oh, I really wanted this haircut. She's like, oh my gosh, you look so cute. She goes, go put your stuff away. I'll be right with you. I'm just going to go say hi to your dad. And I said, okay, great. And she walked out.
What did you see?
And I roller skated over to the drapes and I like looked because I knew. And I just see my mom go, like, I only see her from the back, but I see her go like, I'm like this. And, and my dad's going, I don't know. And so
why I find this
like I don't know.
This is every mom's worst nightmare. It's so ridiculous, but the dad going to get the kid a haircut without your permission is like illegal.
And I in that moment was like, oh shit. Like mom is pissed. Like, oh my God. Like I totally threw dad under the bus. That was it. I had those moments where I could see they had differences of opinion, but then they got through it. And my mom was such a saint that she like came in the house. By the time she walked to the front door, she had totally processed it and it was okay. And she was so excited for me and my new haircut.
This is why you're so nice. Though you had great parents.
I had fantastic parents. My mom passed away when I was young, which was a big tragedy. So part of the reason why it was so important for me as a child of divorced parents to have a strong connection with both parents is that I lived a reality where all of a sudden one day one was gone, totally unexpectedly.
Yeah.
And so to me, in my life and my career as a family law lawyer, I am always an advocate for two strong parents. And because I believe that a child really needs two parents and you can get different things from different parents.
Absolutely.
But if you get love from both sides and support, then you've really
divorce isn't necessarily the issue, right?
No,
it's
right.
how the parents handle the divorce. That's really what affects the kids. Is that a hot take? I don't know.
Totally.
Because I'm like, sometimes it's like, is divorce the worst thing? Sometimes I'm like, my parents stayed married for 50 years. And we never heard the end of it. Like, I actually was like, this is pure torture.
Yeah.
As much as it's nice to have your parents together, of course. But again, I wouldn't have been as unhappy, I think, with a divorce if they could have handled it well.
Exactly.
But I know they wouldn't have.
Well, I've spent countless hours. I mean, I can't even count how many hours I've spent in child custody colloquium seminars, listening to therapists, listening to child development experts, working hand in hand with child development experts for my clients and in cases. And I can tell you, I'm not a therapist. I feel like I'm kind of an accidental therapist because I do so much.
Well, people entrust you. So unfortunately, you are. It is a little bit of a therapist.
Of course, like an unlicensed accidental therapist.
Yeah.
But from what I have heard from people who have done the research and have the knowledge and have the experience, they all unequivocally state that having a childhood where you have two happy homes is 1,000,000 times better than one unhappy home. And you're 100% right that what you said, I agree with it so much. If your child is raised in a home where there's constant friction, then
it's hard.
That's your normal.
Yes.
And that's kind of like, unless you actually take steps to put a hard stop on that, that's the life that you're probably going to create for yourselves. It's
why they call it a vicious cycle.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, we repeat, our parents are our models for better or worse. So, even though my parents were divorced when I was really young, I always grew up with very healthy ideas about marriage.
Right.
I always did. I grew up with healthy ideas I'm so fortunate. My mom never talked shit about my dad. My dad never talked shit about my mom.
Really?
Oh,
Really?
yeah.
Never?
No.
Guys, take a lesson from,
No,
I know how hard
they
it is,
just
but like,
didn't. They just did. So I see it's done. So when clients will come to me and be like, no, it's impossible. Like the kids ask questions and I have to be honest with them. I'm like, no, you don't. No, you don't. Guess what? There's no award for like best honest parent. Like that award doesn't exist. And what
there's no award.
No.
Oh my God.
And so when I get, you know me, my personality, like I don't
You don't
shy
bullshit.
away. I don't
No.
bullshit. And I always say like, I don't do
No.
sunshine and rainbows and unicorns. Like
That's true. She does say that. That is true.
I have a very optimistic and positive outlook on life. I do. I go into everything looking for the best in people, looking for the best in situations. So I don't, when somebody's saying to me like, no, I have to be able to talk to my kids about this. They're asking questions. We have a very honest home. We have this, we have that. I'm like, I get it. And an honest home is a good home, but you as a parent need to make decisions about what information your children need to know. To not share information about, the fact that daddy had an affair with Maria, like you don't share that. You don't get an award for telling your kid that.
What's the point of telling them, right? What are you getting out of that?
Exactly.
And it's just to make him look bad. It makes you feel good for them to have that same
because
negative
then
view
you
as
pull
you.
them on your team, and that makes you feel good
That's
to have
how
your
it was
kids
for me.
on your team.
Yes.
And I could see that. But the strongest parents are the ones who say, as much as it's killing me not to throw my wife or my husband or my husband under the bus, I'm not going to do it because I don't want my kids to be scarred. I don't want them to take this with them for the rest of their life, because the divorce will carry on with your kids for the rest of their lives, whether it's a positive or a negative. It's just a chapter in their lives, and they're going to remember it. So how you handle it is probably like the most important thing you could do for your kids.
So true.
Yeah. We want our kids.
So true.
At the end of the day, we want our kids to have happy, healthy relationships.
You're so right, because that is the home I grew up in. And I have regret now of the way I saw my dad, because actually he was really nice to me, but I would always make him look like the bad guy because of my mom.
Mm-hmm.
And two, it took a lot of work to make my house happy because of what I saw. We want to hope for the romance. We want to see the love. We hope for forever. But realistically, and I say this as a 54-year-old woman now, I personally think the healthiest marriages and the ones that really last the longest are the ones that do have the hard conversations and are the ones that actually are very involved in finances and understanding like where you stand and God forbid something happens and are realistic.
Yes.
So I think that's the hardest part, because my mom was that daydreamer telling me to get married. Someone will take care of you forever. And this bullshit romance novel that really, as a 54-year-old, like I've never seen that exist.
Yeah.
Like now with experience, never seen that.
Yeah.
So it is something that I find just so interesting, and how important it is, I think, to educate women, especially young women, especially you walk into those marriages. Mm-hmm. Again, that this is a lifelong commitment, whether you like it or not. Once you have kids, lifelong. 100%. You're going to be dealing with this person forever. You're the one doing the interviewing. Make sure he fits into your life. Mm-hmm. Make sure the morals, the values. So I think that's what's important and why this conversation is important, because I think women have a really fucked up view of what marriage is supposed to look like. We have all these weird illusions in our head.
Oh my God.
And
it's
realistic.
Gotten, I think, 100 times worse with social media.
You're
right?
seeing these weddings and you're like,
yeah. You're like,
what?
I want that wedding.
Me too.
I want to get married at Lake Como. Like, I don't want to get married in Palm Springs.
I want to spend $5 million on my wedding. Do you know what I mean? But you're like, it's so unrealistic, yet this is the illusion that women are thinking is what's happy. And like they could be fighting behind those photos. Yeah. We have no idea. So I think let's get into it. Yeah. I want to ask some really serious questions, because we want to set women up for success.
Yes,
always.
Let's do it.
Okay, so we kind of talked about this, but when couples walk into your office, what is really like that number one thing that they think they're fighting over, but versus what they're actually heartbroken about?
Yeah.
Because we talked about this, and I was like, I think sometimes we're so angry, something triggers something, but it's really the icing on the cake.
Yes.
And it's not what you think broke the camel's back. It's been happening for 5 years, let's be honest.
Yes.
So what are some of those typical situations?
Yeah. I mean, people come in and there's usually some event that might have happened that really kind of brings it over the edge, where all of a sudden it's clear that the marriage is not going to work. But in my experience, it's been unraveling for a very long time.
Yeah.
And it's years of feeling disconnected.
Mm-hmm.
Like the number one thing that I think keeps a marriage together is communication. And to the point you just made, talking about even the tough stuff, right? So they say the most important conversations are the most difficult ones.
True.
Right?
True.
So, but we oftentimes as women will just think, okay, well, my husband seems a little bit off, or he seems a little bit unhappy, but he's probably just going through something. Must be something at work, must be this. And then men look at women and think, oh, my wife is not really happy. It must be
her period.
Or hormones
menopause.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
And so you don't really talk about, hey, like you don't seem super happy.
Because you
I don't
usually
feel
don't want to
really
know.
Connected
Do you
to
really
right
want to
now.
know the answer?
Right. That's it. So people don't really sit, and especially as parents, right? We have these kids and they're really taking the most of our time, which they should. And so you're working sort of as a partnership in raising these kids, and you're not focusing on what really brought you two together and your own partnership as much. And we as parents oftentimes say, well, the kids are most important. It's forget about us. Like, let's just focus on the kids. But then the problem is, if you're not nurturing your relationship, then you're not really showing your kids what a healthy marriage looks like, right?
Yep.
And then you get to my phase of life, which is the empty nest phase, which is a real fucking laugh riot. Let me just tell you. And these children that you've loved since the moment you learned that you were pregnant with them, right? Have the nerve to like leave you and go to college. I mean, what? That's not okay.
No.
I've said to my boys, I was like, you know what? If I could do this over again, I wouldn't have encouraged you to do well in school. I would have held you back like a few grades so that you could have just stayed home longer.
It's true.
And then I would have said, you don't need, like, you just stay here. You could just live here with us
And
forever.
the truth is, I mean, my
and
parents.
I'm joking, obviously.
But it's true. But my parents would offer that we'll pay for things or just live at home and save money, because I do think my mom wanted me home.
Of
and it was
course.
still a distraction for her. It was still something for her to do. So I
Yes.
think you're right.
Yes.
That's what happens.
Yes. So what's super important is, in my opinion,
Yeah.
to nurture that relationship. And if you feel like you're not communicating well, or you feel like your partner is pulling away from you, that's the time where you need to do a sit down. And it can't just be like as you're making a coffee, like, hey, are you okay? Everything okay? Like what? And then when your partner says, yeah, everything's fine, which inevitably they will say, but you're like, oh, okay, we tried to talk about it, and that was it. This is not like a 3-second exchange. This is something that if you're feeling it, you're feeling it for a reason. Our intuition is strong.
Mm-hmm.
And so I always say, like, get to the root of it, and you might hear things that you don't want to hear, but they're important to discuss. And if you have the ability to see a therapist together, I'm a huge, huge advocate of that.
Are you?
Because therapists can pull things out that you can't pull out on your own.
Right.
And it's, I think, a
kind of a safe. It's like the way you talk to a friend, and you can be like, he was such a dick, whatever.
Right.
But to his face, you're not going to necessarily be like, oh, I think you're a cheap motherfucker. You know what I mean? So there is something about this therapist that you can. It's like they're in the room, but you can talk about it.
Well, yeah,
right?
And then the therapist can kind of validate both points of view. Like, I understand why you feel this way. I understand why you feel this way. Let's talk this through. And most couples that I've worked with who have gone through that therapeutic process, and friends, right, learn a lot and are kind of like shocked, like, oh my God, I had no idea that this was happening. Because I have had people who have come to me, and I'm never an advocate for divorce. Yes, right. I'm a family law lawyer, but I'm never like, oh, come on down. Like
you want to save the marriage if you can. Yeah.
So oftentimes people will come see me and they have questions. This might happen. What does this look like if this happened? And I will always say to a client, before you do anything, make sure you've explored all options to work on this marriage. And I can recommend therapists. I think it's so important to have really, really, really done a deep dive into that before you make a decision, because this is a decision. If you do decide you want to get a divorce, you never want to regret it. You want to go into it saying, you know what, I gave it my all. I gave everything. I explored all options. I did my best to be the best partner I could be. I did my best to help my spouse in any way I could. And it didn't end up working out, but I don't have any regrets because I really gave it my best shot.
Yeah.
And that's why I'll get calls, sometimes if somebody finds out something that's like devastating news and they'll call and they're like, I want to file for divorce right away. And I will always say, no, we're not doing that. No. We don't do that.
You will stop them from that.
I mean, the other lawyers will do it, I'm sure, but I don't do that because I always say, like, there's no rush. Let's really think this through. Let's think about what the ramifications are of this before you jump into this. And this should not be an emotional decision. It should be a well thought out one.
What's the number one thing people come? Cheating?
Well, there's a lot of infidelity. And I will say, when you did the intro, you said I've been doing it for 30 years. I'm like, fuck, I feel like I'm 30 years old. Like, how could I have been?
Me too.
But I have been doing this for that long. And as part of that, I've seen the family law world sort of
evolve.
Yeah, over time. And social media, there's no doubt that the divorce rate has spiked because of it. Oh, no doubt.
Why? What do you think? Is it because you're meeting people so easily?
Yes. So let's say, in the olden times.
Back in our day, because we're 80.
Back in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
Think about it. How would you meet people?
You had to go out and meet someone in a bar.
Physically, you'd meet someone.
Yes.
Right? Or somebody would introduce you to someone.
Yes.
Right? So now you could just go on your phone and find anyone who you think is attractive and send them a message. And then maybe they respond. And then you're like all of a sudden communicating with somebody that you've would have otherwise not met. That the world is your oyster. You could communicate with millions of people now that you would never have been able to communicate with before.
You could even meet your celebrities. I mean, you could even meet someone like, you know what I'm saying? Like something as crazy as that you're kind of like, if you had that opportunity, would you take it? So it's like crazy what's available to you right now.
Right. And there's a lot of people that I think that who have a level of unhappiness and they get a real rush from connecting with somebody else. And it seems like
so it really has gone up since that real burst of social media.
I believe so, because I believe that it's far easier to connect with other people. So there's lots of outside of the marriage connections that are happening. And I will tell you, most times when somebody comes to me and says, I figured this out, it's usually because I looked at her phone, I looked at his phone. The phone is
always,
and the message is on the phone.
The damn fucking phone.
Right.
If it's a computer, I mean, John broke into my dad's computer and found everything. I mean, it's a shit show. People, you're not safe. Like, people can find out. All these people think they're so sketchy. I mean, so secretive. You really can find anything.
You can, and it lives forever. Like, someone once told me, an IT guy that we were working with for our firm once said, we were working on this file and somehow it got lost and we didn't know where. And so he said, don't worry, we'll find it. Like, once it exists, we can always get it back. And I said, okay, that's great. And they were able to find it. But he said to me, the thing is, like, the second that you put anything into your computer, into your phone, and you save it or you send it,
it lives forever.
It lives forever. Like, you may think you've deleted those messages. You may think you've emptied that trash folder.
Ladies, play close attention.
It's all
Jackson,
retrievable.
are you listening to this? Just in case.
It is all retrievable.
What?
Yeah.
And I think also more people are getting busted because of social media. I mean, you saw the Chris Martin concert. You saw the couple that was in the park making out, that people are just filming now anyone and everything. And everyone's being like, who is that? Or women at the airport now saying, hey, if your boyfriend was on this flight at this time, he was talking about this. And you're like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Like, no one's safe now.
No one. Yeah.
Holy
So the point of that really is, if you're married and you're feeling kind of unfulfilled and you're feeling like, oh, I just want to reach out to other people on social media, I just want to see like
what's out there.
What's out there. Maybe deal with what's going on under your own roof first.
You would think.
Right?
Yeah.
No, but a lot of people don't.
They want to test the waters first, kind of see what's out there to see if I leave, then I can have this. But unfortunately, you're creating a huge mess.
Well, and most people who, again, this is just from my experience, most people who have little dalliances outside of marriage are not doing it because they want a divorce. They're just doing it because they're bored. Okay? Mm-hmm. But then if they get caught, they're like, oh my God. Like, they never really think it through. Like, this was just innocent. I was just exchanging nudie pics with this girl in Iowa, you know, and you're like, okay, but your wife found out about it. And now your life has changed for
ever.
Yeah. So people don't understand the ramifications of it. And they think, well, everyone does that, you know, and I've had clients say to me, well, that's just what people do. They just,
they really are stupid sometimes.
Really...
I'm sorry, I got to say it.
And if that's okay with your spouse, like if you guys both agree that it's okay that we could kind of flirt online with other people and that is agreeable in your marriage, okay, I guess. I mean, people have all kinds of strange agreements in their marriages that I've learned about that I'm like, what? Yeah.
God, I wish you could tell us everything. People will put in clauses like crazy situations, right? Like not everyone has just a normal marriage, right? Like you see
people
some clauses
have different, you know, open marriages. They haven't yet seen one work out. So I only know about the open marriages because they're in my office talking about it.
There's no way open marriages work. I guarantee you, Caroline,
I guarantee there are people who love you and watch, you know, you on Instagram and listen to your podcast and, you know, like everyone does. And I guarantee there are people out there who are saying right now, oh, you know, I have an open marriage and it works out. There are people who have open marriages and I know they exist.
I'm not here to judge. It's like, if that works for you, amazing. And I'm just jealous. I think I'd be jealous and stuff. Like it would not work for me, but you're right. It definitely can work for some people.
What I have seen happen is that
Jackson's locked in.
Jackson, listen up. What I have seen happen in so many instances where there's like little patterns that keep coming to me and I'm like, whoop, yep.
Tell us. Give us a snippet.
The person who wants the open marriage, if they are successful in convincing their spouse to have an open marriage and the spouse is really hesitant about it and not really loving this idea at all, but kind of wanting to save the marriage and doesn't want their spouse to leave, and so they kind of reluctantly agree to do this, it's usually that spouse that falls in love with someone else in the open marriage scenario. And then the person who wanted the open marriage is like, what just happened? We were just supposed to be able to like play with other people. But the person who begrudgingly agreed to it is the one who often falls in love with someone else. So the whole thing just blows up.
Shut up.
I swear. Seen it a number of times.
That's really interesting. Especially the one that was at it. But then it's like you obviously, there was something missing in that relationship that you went to an open relationship to then you just introduce them to somebody else that maybe can provide something that's missing. Right? Like you're playing with fire. You're
definitely playing with fire.
That's how I see it. I'm always like, why? I'm of the mindset of like, you know what? Don't make anything too easy or too obvious. And again, I trust John implicitly, but I just don't think it's necessary for anyone. Like I think there is a point where, you know, I mean, we all have to just be respectful and understand that, like, there's temptation everywhere, of course, for everyone. And you just try to make those decisions that best keep you not having to make a decision like that.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Okay, I'm going to ask you something else really quick. Okay. When someone's life is falling apart during a divorce, how do you advise them to keep showing up visually and mentally for their kids and themselves?
Yeah. Just do what gives you calm and be with people who support you. Really, like rely on your friends, rely on your close family members, and do things that make you feel good about yourself, whether it's exercise or, you know, doing some kind of mental health work. That is so important to get you through the process because it's going to be hard. And if you just think like, oh, this will be easy, I'm fine, I've got this, it's going to show. The cracks in the facade are going to show up. We're only human. And it's okay to say, I'm going through something that's hard and I need help.
Absolutely.
That's what your good friends are for, a therapist if possible, and routines, really healthy routines, waking up and
moving your body,
getting that sunlight, doing things that really kind of make you feel as balanced as possible. And I feel like there's a lot of strength in that.
I do too.
That if you are able to say, all right, let's go, like truly, you're about to be the captain of the ship and you see stormy waters are ahead. What are you going to do? Go hide in your bunk room?
You can't.
Then you're going to capsize, right? You got to be like, put on your captain's hats. Let's go. We got this. Like, all systems ahead, right?
And do whatever it is that
Right.
helps take care of you.
And rely upon the people around you who can help keep the ship up.
It's so
Rely on those people.
And it's funny because we talk about this a lot. I know we really agree on that. And whether it's divorce, I mean, we've all had friends going through hard divorces and things. And people always ask me, what do you do when, like this one woman just she lost the job of her dreams because of an accident, or somebody who's gotten divorced and feels like they're left with nothing. And I'm like, you got to start small.
Yeah.
Like it is just doing those small little things every day that just get you back up. Like, again, you're not going to accomplish anything not feeling good.
Yeah.
So it's really that beginning,
true.
right? It's just like doing those small things that just make you feel at least whole for the day.
Yeah. And that's really one of the reasons why I admire what you have accomplished so much, because you are just putting yourself out there unselfishly to help people feel good about themselves.
I hope to. Like I really do. I've seen my mom never be able to do that.
Yeah.
And I think because like me growing up, it's like we had the opposite experience. And it's true. It's like I don't want anyone else to suffer like that. I really don't.
Yeah.
And when you see how much help, like how much free help there really is out there, whether it's sunshine, putting your feet in the grass, and it all sounds so kitschy and stupid. And everyone's like, okay, put my fucking feet. You know what I mean? But when you really do it,
replace the grass with the faux grass.
But the truth, like it's funny when you do those little tiny things. This one woman just did a whole video and she said how like she's up, she's walking, she's dressed, and she was like holed up for months, just depressed. But it was like just getting started, then you can deal with everything else.
Yes.
But if you don't feel good, how do you deal with everything else?
Yeah.
Right? So it's like starting there, taking care of yourself. Okay, so we've seen all the dramatic movie divorces. What is the biggest myth Hollywood perpetuates about splitting up that you constantly have to debunk for your clients?
There is this crazy myth. So first of all, I'm a California family law lawyer. So
you see celebrities,
right.
you see powerhouses.
Yes. Yeah. But family law is different in every state. We don't have any national family laws. So I can only speak to like what really happens in California.
Okay.
But in California, there is significance to a 10-year marriage. And the significance is that after a marriage of 10 years, presumptively, the duration of a spousal support order doesn't have an automatic end. So before 10 years, if you're married for 8 years, you're probably going to get spousal support for roughly half the length of the marriage. So in an 8-year marriage, you'd get it for roughly 4 years. Not exactly, but roughly.
Okay.
But then our laws say after 10 years, the court has jurisdiction to kind of do whatever they feel is appropriate. And lots of times those support orders don't end until one of you dies or the supported party remarries, right? So they can go on for a while. Now, that doesn't mean that you're going to, if you get married at 21 and you're divorced at 32, that you're getting support for the rest of your life. People somehow think they will. They think that, oh, I made it past 10 years, so I'm getting lifetime support.
Or is it 50-50 after 10 years?
So I was going to say that's the next one.
That is what I thought.
That is the next one.
Look, John, do not listen to this part.
Yeah.
Close your ears.
Mute Mr. Baudino. So at 10 years, that is the legal significance. It only has to deal with what a court will likely consider for spousal support. And again, nothing is absolutely rock solid. Courts have jurisdiction to do things that feel appropriate given the circumstances.
Okay.
But people think all the time, I've had so many people come in to me and be like, oh, okay, I made it. 10 years and 6 months. Like, girl, like, hi. And I'm like, why are we high-fiving? What's going on? And they're like, lifetime support and everything's 50-50. And I'm just like, where did you read that? That is not true.
That is what people think.
I know.
Melanie.
Not true.
Okay, what's the truth?
The truth is what I just said about spousal support.
What about 50-50? What's the truth about that?
No, there's never a time in a marriage where things just become 50-50. You come to the marriage with whatever you come to the marriage with is your separate property. It stays your separate property throughout the marriage, right? And what is community property is what the two of you create together. You know, what you save from your earnings from work. And that's always just going to be community property regardless of how long you're married. It starts on day one.
So that's really what
unless you have a prenup that says something different, but yeah.
Okay. Ladies, get your shit together. Okay. Family law deals with raw human emotion, right?
Yes.
Can you share a specific case that completely broke your heart, obviously no names, and how you managed to go home, shake it off, and be a parent and a partner to your own family?
Yeah.
Is there anything that really shakes you that you're like, fuck? That really
yeah, especially when I was a younger lawyer, and this is all so new to me.
Yeah.
There were a lot of times my husband always says, like, God, I remember there were the days where you'd come home and just cry. You know, It was really, really hard because I would just be like, oh my God, these people are suffering. The kids are suffering.
Yeah.
I've always been a big advocate for kids.
Yeah.
So I've had a lot of times where there have been really, really difficult fact patterns that have really sat with me. I've also had some occasions where I've had an opposing party who was just not mentally well.
Yeah.
That became very, scary.
Yeah. Yeah.
And not only to their children, but also to their former spouse and even to me.
Right.
Where I've been threatened and stuff.
Yes.
So there have been some of those times.
I never thought about that, Melanie. That is so true, especially in high stakes.
Very rare, but there was one time years ago where I was in court. It was a really tragic circumstance. The father, they'd been divorced for a while. They had a preteen daughter, and he was paying child support, somewhere like $15,000, $20,000 a month in child support. And he just noticed the behavior of his ex-wife became really, really strange.
Oh no.
And she was always talking about like not having any money, and I need you to pay for this, I need you to do that, I have no money. And he was like, this is okay, I'm giving you like a nice amount of money and I'm not sure what's going on. And then the daughter would say some things that were a little bit strange. Then the daughter's teachers and the parents of the daughter's friends all started calling him and saying something is really wrong. Like, we don't know what it is, but something is really, really wrong. And he hired a private investigator to look into what was going on because he started to get really concerned.
I would do that.
I mean, it was like, how many signs can you have?
No,
everyone's
scary.
calling you saying like something is
scary.
really wrong.
That's really scary.
And it turned out that she had developed a really, really significant drug problem. And she was just living with all this money. She was living in sleazy motels and out of her car.
Oh, that's so sad. That's so sad.
Yeah. And
how do you end up there? How do you end up like that?
Yeah. It was just drugs.
Right.
So he came to me and said, I have to do something. I think my daughter is in danger. And with all the evidence that his private investigator had gathered, which was astounding.
Wow.
We put it all together, went to court. Judge was very concerned properly and immediately gave him sole legal and physical custody of his daughter.
Wow.
And said to the mom, like, don't come back here until you can prove your sobriety because you clearly have a problem and please fix it, And the judge was actually very empathetic, but the mom was not understanding that she had a problem. She was really in denial.
Shit.
And so she was yelling at me in the courthouse. I had to have a bailiff escort me out of the courthouse. It was scary. And I thought to myself,
those moments are the like, when you walk home like, shit, this is a lot.
Yeah. But I knew I was doing the right thing. And after that happened, and by the way, in that case, the father was kind of, he had his daughter every other weekend. I mean, the mom had really been the primary caregiver. And so the daughter was really upset too because she missed her mom and was concerned about her mom. It was just like all angles,
That's
like coming
so
from everywhere.
emotional.
So hard. And so he said, what do I do? And I said, number one, get your daughter a therapist and talk to the therapist and figure out how to get through this. What do we do? And I said, and number two, I think you should reach out to her, to the mom, and say, I hope one day you'll forgive me for what I've done. I did what I needed to do. You're not okay. And our daughter loves you and wants a happy, healthy mom. And please go to rehab and I will pay for it. And please get whatever help you need and send me the bill. Like, I want you to be happy. I want you to be healthy.
Wow.
And that was what I had recommended to him. And he said, absolutely. I mean, a different person would have been like, oh,
fuck that.
Yeah. She's just a druggie and I'm not going to help her. But he was a really
like kind, said,
concerned person.
The daughter was the more important one.
Yeah. And so when he said to me, like, what do I do? That was sort of what I came up with. And he was on board with it. She did go to rehab. It was not an easy journey from that point forward. There were like lots of ins and outs. And I remember all of that. But I later connected with the daughter. And she and I talked about it a little bit, and it was, it was really rough on her. But she, at the end of the day, was like, "You saved my mom's life. Like, thank you for saving her."
Even if it's hard,
and it was,
and it's like not what you hoped for. You thought that, but like again, sometimes the hard is what saves people.
Yes, yeah. I mean, I'm not a confrontational person at all, like at all. So it's hard for someone to be yelling at me. Calling me every name in the book, and
it's awful.
Like, how dare you? You've taken a child away from her mother,
because then they make it a woman thing and a feminine thing, and it's like,
I remember like feeling my heartbeat in my shirt, going like, oh my god, Like it's scary. And,
that's scary.
And
okay,
it's I don't shy away from things like that because this is the safety of a child, right, at stake. And sometimes you have to take those steps to protect the children. So
and that's why you're the adults handling it. Because the child, imagine what she says to the daughter. You know what I'm saying? If she's angry or upset. So it's like, you got to step in. Someone has to step in.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay. So on the flip side, I love this one because you once said this to me and I thought it was genius.
Okay.
Divorce can lead to incredible new beginnings.
Yes.
What is the most beautiful, triumphant transformation you've witnessed a client go through once the ink on this settlement is done or dry?
Yeah.
Because I know I know you once said to me, most of the time people will come and be like, thank God.
Yes.
It's the best thing I ever did. But like,
yes. I mean, remarriage, finding new love, realizing that there's somebody out there that's better for you. I mean, just because you walked down the aisle with someone when you were, what are we usually in our 20s, maybe 30s when we were getting married, and that person that we're walking down the aisle to meet is the person for us in that moment. Years later, people change. It's not always the case that person
keeps changing and
still
evolving
has
with
to
you.
Be the person for you. And sometimes it's like putting a square peg in a round hole. You're like, sometimes it just, you change for better or worse. And to be able to acknowledge that and then be able to close that chapter in a really nice way and then move on and have the space to write new chapters of your book, whether it's for love or career. I've seen so many instances of people who never thought that they would get divorced, and they're like piles of goo in my office talking about it, like, oh, I can't believe this is happening. But yet after they process that and move on, their life becomes so much more fulfilling because they've met new people and they've maybe tried a new career, something they never would have thought of doing.
It's like not a reinvention, because in the sense of you're an incredible human being already, but it's like bringing her back to life and remembering all the things. Because sometimes you forget what you used to like to do because you're so busy taking care of everyone else.
That's right.
And going to everyone else's games and supporting everyone else's job that you do after 18 years, you can forget who the hell you are and what your desires and likes and passions are. So it is like, imagine being able to reignite that.
Yes.
Right?
It really,
and
it's very powerful.
Again.
And that's why you've also asked me over time, like, what's the most important thing that women should do during their marriage? Right? And I always say, never lose sight of who you are. And don't just become the woman who like takes care of her husband and takes care of her kids. And that's me in a nutshell. That's just what I do. You are so much more multidimensional than that. And you embrace those dimensions and foster those dimensions, because there's only one person in life that you can count on, and that's yourself.
Yep.
So in my opinion, you at all times should be living a life where if your spouse just one day wasn't there for whatever reason, you're okay. Like, I am okay. I'm going to be super sad about it. I'm not talking about the emotional part.
No,
I'm talking
not emotional.
about your life.
Can you take care of yourself?
Can you take care of yourself?
Maintain yourself?
Yes.
Can you, right. It's like that, or that you don't fall apart.
Right.
Because
so you have to have things that fulfill you. You have to have activities, and if it's a career, that's fantastic. But if it's hobbies, if it's things that give you joy and bring passion to your life and you feel strong about it, if it's charity work, if it's, just
a book club,
all
it doesn't matter.
Of the things that are outside of your marriage and your role as a mom, never lose sight of those things, because those things make you who you are, and you can't give them all up. I mean, I see at this point in my life, because my kids are older than yours, and I am an empty nester.
I mean, I met her when her kids were home in high school and giving us advice about high school, and now they're in college. It's crazy.
Yeah, that was like the elementary school days. But now, having your kids, and that's what you dream for them, right? You dream that they're going to leave they're going to go to college, they're going to, or whatever it is, they join the military, whatever it is they do, live their best life, right? Maybe go straight to work because there's something that they feel passionate about doing, and college isn't for them. Do whatever.
Yes,
exactly. So that's what we want for them. But we have to make sure that when that happens, that we feel good about who we are, and we feel as good as possible as we can about our marriage. And I've just seen so many people come to me as soon as the kids leave the house.
I mean, half the people do say, we'll wait till the kids leave.
Oh my God.
That's the truth,
Yes.
Melanie. Don't you hear that all the time?
All the time.
And they think that it's because it won't affect the kids or we don't want to disrupt them. But at the end of the day, like you said, all of those things that you do that make you who you are, that's what carries you if things don't work out.
Right.
Those are the things you lean on.
Right.
Right?
Right.
So it's like important to have those in place and ready to go.
Absolutely.
Like I will never understand, and listen, I was one where I felt like I had to run around like a chicken with my head cut off to be considered a good mom. I really did, because like my parents were never around and I kind of felt like I had to go the complete opposite and take my kids everywhere and do everything, because it's like, you're not a good mom if you're not sacrificing it all. The biggest lie I have ever told myself, that is the biggest lie I've ever told myself, because I've realized my kids are so much happier and thriving when they see their mother thriving and happy. Like them seeing a happy home, a peaceful home, a calm home, and a mom that's walking around smiling because she's confident, she feels good about herself. No better case scenario.
Yeah. No, it's true.
Not the chicken with the head cut off.
It's so true. And so for someone like you who, has so many things going on and has so many activities and like so much to give and so much help to provide, that's like, you're just a great role model for your kids. And, for me, I, aside from taking my maternity leave, which I did with each of one of my boys, I never stopped working. It was important to me. It's part of who I am. It's what filled me. And I always knew that I could be a working mom and still a kick-ass mom.
Yeah.
And as a result, I have two sons who look at women as there's nothing that
you can't do. Right?
Yeah, that a man does that a woman can't. And where I managed, thankfully, to be able to still be the mom at everything. Obviously there's things that
the weekends you're always with them. But I'm saying you really made an effort. That time off, you were with them.
I went to school, our little sweet elementary school. I went there every morning and dropped the boys off. And it was cute. So funny because I'd be at the school handing out little tickets for when the kids run around the laps, and remember the laps for Lanai thing?
Yes. Oh God.
And some of the
we
moms
went to the same elementary school.
Some of the moms would come up to me and be like, "Oh, you look so nice!" Like, oh my, I'm like, no, I did not get dressed up for this. Like, make no mistake about it. At 8:15. I'm on the way to the office.
Like, I'm going to the courthouse, lady.
Goodbye, and off I go. But you can balance it all. And I would say for those people who listen to you who are working moms, don't feel guilty for a minute.
Do not.
You can manage it all, and you're creating a great role model for your kids to see that, moms can do what dads can do, and will grow up with very healthy images of what women.
And seeing you both support each other, I think, is important. And even if you're a stay-at-home mom, I will say this: finding those things that you're passionate about to keep doing, whether it's playing tennis, whether it's a book club, whether it's taking a class while the kids are at school that you've just always wanted to learn. Again, just keeping you interesting is important. It's not about always having, if you don't want to work, you don't want to go to a job, but don't forget about who you are and your hobbies and your passions.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, I'd say of my friends, half of them worked and half of them were stay-at-home moms, and everyone had something so great to contribute.
I agree. I have a mixture of both, and it's fascinating, all of it.
Yeah.
But I will say some of the happiest marriages that I do see and the ones that I do know, it's interesting. I do feel like both people bring something to the table. And it is something, it isn't just like the mom just talking about the kids and just doing it. It's like there is, whether they're investing, they're volunteering, they're doing something together. Like, again, there is teamwork.
Yes.
Rather than you take care of me, I take care of it. And it's like you just living separate lives.
Yes.
If that makes any sense. Those old traditional roles, I just think that I'm just so happy that we're blasting them into pieces, because these specific roles don't suit everyone.
Yeah.
And I have to say, like, John is better at doing what he's doing now, and I'm better at being the hustler, because like that's just, I have a lot of friends who the wives are actually the forward facing money maker hardcore, while the husbands do like kind of the coolest, whether it's photography, whether it's, Red Bull huge, like killer jobs, but not the traditional home situation. And I have to say, those are the happiest marriages I've seen.
Yeah. And what's really interesting too is a newer dynamic that I've watched evolve over the years is, I'd say for whatever reason, about half my clients are men, half my clients are women.
Yeah.
Now, most of my women clients are the higher income earners.
Isn't that crazy,
Melanie?
I think that's the new, right? Like, women really are in
definitely.
this position now.
Definitely.
Wow. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Like you're seeing more women as, and I have a lot of very successful women friends who are the main money makers, have killer husbands who are living their passions. It isn't so much that they're not doing anything. They're living their passions and doing what they're good at. And what's interesting, it's like you see, John, we're way more successful because we're actually doing what we love. Rather than him having to, like, he's traveling all the time and doing this, and I was at home with the kids all the time, but I was like, that's not how we were really happy.
Yep.
Does that make any sense? You know what I mean?
And Aaron and I have such different jobs, but what we've shared with the kids over all of the years is constant, which is, as far as your career goes, if you're able to find a career where you have talent and you have passion and somehow you get a paycheck, then you have won
the lottery,
the game
of life,
of career part of your life. Right? If you're going to work, you're good at it, you feel strongly about it, and they're paying you to do it, my God, go.
Absolutely.
Godspeed. And that's how Aaron and I both are. We have such different jobs, as you know, but
wait, tell them what Aaron does, because I don't think anybody will understand.
Crazy. I am like the most boring, risk averse. I'm truly the most boring individual, but proudly.
You are not. She's the most fun person at the party.
No, but
I'm bullshit. Boring. You are the one dancing to the fucking end.
I love to dance. I'm awful at it. I don't care.
No, you're
it's going to happen.
Tell him what he does.
My husband is the Red Bull aerobatic helicopter pilot. So he flies a helicopter upside down and sideways and does loops, and
it's the most stressful thing you will ever watch.
I'm afraid of heights. I am afraid of heights. I sure as shit. I went to the Eiffel Tower. I just stood against the wall. I was like, oh, it looks great. Like, I am afraid of heights.
If you see her, first of all, he's the coolest. Okay. Good looking. He's got the mustache. Yeah. He is like daredevil heaven, like literally. And you're like, he's like, oh, I just flew today, whatever. You see a video and you're like, what are you talking about? I just flew. Like, aerials, flying, lunatic. He does like all the Red Bull stuff, which he just did. I just saw him doing the girl who dove into the shark tank. And I like just happened to get a glimpse of the pilot. And I was like, Melanie, what is Aaron doing with the fuck, So it's the coolest thing to see you both, because you're so different. Yet you have one of the best marriages I've seen in family life, because I think it's true. You guys are
different. We're very different.
You're so different, but you're so supportive. And you're fun. And I see you guys laugh a lot.
Yes.
And there's still a lot of affection. Yes. And it just feels like there's a lot of respect there at the end of the day. And I see your boys. They're both pilots too. They both are daredevils too. And it's just like, it feels like a really healthy family dynamic.
That's sweet.
But it's true.
I feel it. And we're very, very different. And another key to our marriage is that he travels a lot. So I get to like miss him. Right?
That's true.
It's hard if you're like staring at the same person every day. So if he goes, he travels, and then he's gone for like 3 days, and he comes back like, I miss him. I'm excited for him to come home. Yeah. Or when I see his name pop up, he just called while we were filming. Yeah. Right? And I was like, oh, and you're like, take it.
No, but I'm like, because you're still excited.
Right. No, I'm excited to see his name pop up on the phone.
How many years later? Are you still excited?
20. We've been married for 25 years.
John and I just celebrated 20.
Yeah.
And I still get excited if he's coming home.
So even if your spouse isn't traveling, and I know that a lot of people don't have spouses. A lot of people do have spouses that travel, but just to have things that you do independent of where you have a little space, whether you're doing some kind of activity or just going out with friends.
Go do your pickleball for the hour. Go play golf. Or go do your things. Yeah. It's not selfish.
It's not selfish. It's nice to have a little bit of alone time, because then you get to miss that person.
Right. Okay, real quick question. Do you think prenups are useful for everyone? Do you think everyone should have one? What if you are going to get one, what are those, like if we're going to protect women and just what to look out for, what are the most important things?
Okay. Yeah, I love prenups, but they're not necessarily necessary for everyone.
Okay.
Right? So prenups are good to when you have a lot of finance, like you have a lot of finances coming into the marriage, you have a lot of wealth, and you need to figure out, how are we going to manage this during the marriage? How are we going to build wealth together? How am I going to protect what I'm coming into the marriage with, right? What would it look like if we got divorced? What would the support obligation look like? So I think prenups can be really valuable for people who either are coming to a marriage with wealth or are anticipating that they're going to make major money during their marriage, and they want to have the guidelines about that. The thing that I think is most valuable about a prenup, and which almost leads me to say like everyone should have a prenup,
Yeah.
is talking about money before you get married. Even if you don't have a prenup, if you decide we don't have enough money, it doesn't make sense, we're okay, like just agreeing that whatever we make during marriage will be our joint money. Talking about finances before you get married is so important. It's
the unsexiest thing on the planet.
So important.
But listen to Melanie.
Yeah, no, because I've had so many clients who have come to me and they'll say, they're always embarrassed. I'm like, why are you embarrassed? You shouldn't be embarrassed about this. But they'll say, I have no idea. I have no idea what money we have. I have no idea how much money my spouse earns. I have no clue if we have retirement plans or if we have money saved away for the kids for college. We just don't talk about it. We just don't talk about it.
I think that's I think 75%.
So many people. So I would say whether it's before you get married and certainly during your marriage, you have to talk about it. You have to have those conversations. We all file tax returns every year, right? So instead of just while you're doing 16 other things in your life and managing the kids, jotting down a scribble as a signature, actually look through the tax returns, ask questions about the tax returns if you have questions, right? Because you need to know, you need to understand, where is our money? How much are we together saving after we earn and we spend? How much are we saving? Are we saving? And if we're not saving, how can we save? Work on the finances together to make sure that everybody feels like a team. One person should not be in charge of the finances. You both need to know. That
was I can honestly tell you that was a mistake. That was me.
Yeah.
And I've said it. I've always been honest about it. And it's actually really empowering to know. And
totally
I used to think
is.
it's just like, it's not my business, or like, oh, another thing I have to deal with. Or
Yeah.
I remember, you're running around with the kids, you're exhausted.
Yes.
And you're kind of like, it's the one thing you do. Can't you handle it? Like,
Yes,
for real. Like, you're looking at the guy, and you're
yeah.
like, you fucking go to work, pay the bills. Like, what are you talking?
Yeah.
I'm exhausted. I don't want to hear about the tax return or your stupid like spreadsheet, but it is the most important thing you do.
Yeah.
I hate to say it, but you're right.
Yeah, you need to know.
You gotta know.
So whether it's in the context of talking about it before you get married in a prenup, even if there is no prenup, you still should talk about it. Like, hey, okay, what does your financial situation look like now?
You're right.
Do you have student loans? Like, do you have other loans? Do we have other things that we're going to need to work on paying together after we get married? What are we going to do about our paychecks? Are we going to put them in a joint account? Are you going to keep your money and I'm going to keep mine, and then we'll share bills? What feels right to you? How can we build a financial future together? That is an important conversation that needs to happen. And I will tell you, there's a lot of misconceptions. People have ideas about what the other person has or is making that are completely wrong. Completely wrong. I've had clients who have come to me and said, well, I don't know how much money we have, but I'm sure it's a ton, because we have we live in a beautiful house in the hills. We send our kids to private school. We drive fancy cars. We vacation here and there and blah, blah, blah. So I don't know what we have. Every time I want something, I just put on my credit card.
Right.
I don't know what we have, but I know it's a ton. Right. And then we do the work. We get the information. We're like, okay, the house is rented. The cars are leased. You have massive amounts of credit card debt. And there's no savings.
I think that's more normal than you could imagine. I mean, that was me and all my friends at one point.
Right.
Like, for real, it's like you can end up in that situation so easily.
Right. So when I think of the person who doesn't have the financial information, right, whether it's the man or the woman, had you had a conversation with your spouse, which was like, okay, let's straight up talk about this. Our combined income is this. Should we rent a less expensive house so that we can save some money? Should we rent less expensive or lease less expensive cars so we can save money? Should we not take this trip that's going to cost us a ton of money that we're going to have to put on a credit card so that we can actually work on paying down our credit card? What would your spouse say in that conversation? You need to find out. You need to have those conversations and be on the same page financially. So communication, money, and they're all tied together, right? So if you can't communicate about things, including the finances, then you're going to feel uneasy. And then that leads you to kind of look astray. Like, I'm feeling very unsupported, very, like there's a lack of respect.
Yes.
There's a lack of of connection. And so I'm going to look this way.
Yep.
They're all
Connected.
related.
Yep.
Right? It all goes together.
So your number one tip would be have those hard discussions, especially about finances.
Communicate about everything.
Yeah.
And even if it's hard, you have to do it. And if you need help, get a therapist. There's even, therapists, I know some of them can be expensive, but there's a lot of services that are available through insurance for counseling.
Is there, so really quick, I want to finish it off before we do a quick fire round. The last question is, if someone is, let's say they're listening right now, they're sitting at home, they are feeling all the feels, they don't really know what is that first step that you would recommend? Should you look for the lawyer? How do you find a good lawyer?
I would say first work on your marriage.
Okay.
See if you can get to the bottom of what is making you feel uncomfortable and uneasy. And if that's something, most people, listen, like you and I, we live in the real world, right?
Yeah.
Like we always joke about that.
Yeah.
Like we just do. So am I saying that you should be able to come approach you put the kids to bed, you approach your husband, and your husband's had a long day of doing whatever he's doing, that he's going to be like, oh, honey, I'm so glad you brought it up. Like, here's what's really going on in my mind.
Right.
Right. I just am feeling not, that's la land.
Right.
Right. So I'm not suggesting that it's just the easiest conversation to have, and it might be a series. It will most certainly be more than one conversation that you have about what's going on, but to be honest and not in a way that's accusatory. Not like, what is going on with you? You are just been a piece of shit to me lately, and da-da-da-da. The person hearing that is just going to really retreat. Right. So in my opinion, when you're approaching your spouse about something like that, it would be in the right moment where you would say, I want to talk to you about things because I'm feeling like we're not really connecting, and I love you, and I love our family, and I love our life, and I want to be able to talk to you about this. And if there's something wrong, I want to fix it. And it's like, how are you feeling about things? And that might be, again, a series of different conversations, because your spouse might kind of be taken aback by it. Like, what are you talking about? And then if you can find a resource to help you. So I would say for sure, work on the marriage, work at what's going on, what's making you feel the way you're feeling first. Then if you have, after that, come to a point where you realize, I think the marriage has kind of run its course. I think that maybe we should get divorced.
Yeah.
Then I would say that's a great time to reach out and talk to a lawyer. And one of the things that people ask me all the time is like, how do I find a lawyer?
Yeah.
And
especially a good one that you can trust.
I always say if you have a friend or someone in your community who you've seen go through a divorce and they look like they got through it well, they're still talking to their spouse at kids' parties, and they got through it.
Yeah.
Right? Ask that person, who did you use as a lawyer? Also, if you have an accountant that helps you with your tax returns, professionals know family law lawyers. If you have worked with another lawyer before, perhaps on a will, ask that person. Try not to go online and just type in best family law lawyer in my area. The results you're going to get are people who pay to be top of the search engine.
Yeah.
I don't think that good lawyers need to advertise. I've never spent $1 advertising anything.
Right. It's word of mouth.
My clients come to me through other professionals and former clients, and that keeps me busier than I can't even take.
I've called her for a friend, and literally she's like, I can't even take another client. I'm so slammed.
I'm usually
book solid,
which
is sad. I know that's a sad thought out there, but at least there's help, and at least there's someone there to at least set you up as best as possible for your kids.
Yes.
Most importantly.
Yeah. And I've had people say, no problem. We're not in a rush. Just I'll call you in a few months and see if maybe that's a better time if some cases settle or things like that. So I hate to think of people waiting. If you're in a moment in your life where you feel like you need to proceed with divorce, I would never want anybody to wait. But sometimes people do. But I always give referrals to other excellent attorneys that I know who are in my community that might have more availability. If you can get a recommendation for somebody who has real world experience with that lawyer, that is really valuable.
Just like everything.
Yeah.
Having a real connection to something, a real referral is always the best way. Word of mouth is always the best way.
Yes.
Okay, we're going to do a rapid fire short answer question. Okay. Really quick. 8 quick questions.
I'm just going to grab a sip of water.
Go ahead.
We'll get your prenup in order.
Do you have a prenup?
I don't. I got married 12 years ago, 13 years ago.
Yeah.
I was so young.
Guess what? I don't have one either.
I don't either.
And I was a lawyer. I was a family law lawyer when I married
and now
my
I'm
husband.
like, shit, what
And
if we
by the
do?
way, and prenups are so personal, and clients will sometimes say to me, like, we're trying to figure out what should say about this and that. And I've had several times a client will say to me, listen, I'm trying to figure this out. And I trust your guidance. I mean, do you mind, like, what does your prenup say?
You're
And
like,
I'll
I
say,
don't-
like, I don't have one.
Jackson,
Shoemaker
we're all
shoes.
fucked, okay?
Yeah.
We're all fucked. Anyway, okay. When you need to feel powerful, what is your ultimate go-to outfit or clothing piece?
Oh, well, for me, it's jewelry.
Yeah.
Like 100%.
That's why we love each other. Yep.
That's why we love each other.
Mhm.
I love jewelry that's symbolic to me.
Yeah. Okay. What is your absolute non-negotiable happy tool or self-care ritual after a grueling day in court or the office?
Sauvignon Blanc.
Cheers. That's all we needed to know.
By the way, when I was just
true.
really quick, when the boys were little and I had the world's best nanny, she was so fantastic and they loved her and we still love her. Every day I'd come home from work and she would open the door. She would, have dinner kind of almost ready.
amazing.
And she would open the door. I'd walk in. I'd have like my work bags with me. And she would just present me with an ice cold glass of Sauvignon Blanc. You know what that is? Job security. And everyone at the office knew it happened. And they were like, she is so smart.
So smart.
So I would go in my room. I'd say hi to the kids and they'd jump all over me, whatever. And then I'd go in my room and I'd get out of my work clothes and onto my mommy gear. And I would just bring out my
sip your glass of wine and kind of
it
get
was
into
like
mom mode.
let's do this, boys.
It's amazing. I love that.
Yeah.
Nannies, now you know.
Mhm.
Okay, true or false? A post-nuptial agreement is a sign a marriage is already failing.
Sometimes.
Interesting.
Sometimes.
Okay.
Sometimes they're not, though. Sometimes they're just people sorting out. Maybe they're revising their
Or they've come
prenup.
into wealth.
Yes,
right?
or they're starting a business and they want to have an understanding about how they're going to own the business, or they're making an investment together, things like that. But if the topic is, I feel belittled and I want there to be money transferred to me to make me feel better about this marriage, that's not a
never
great
good
sign. Yeah,
Right. How long does it take you to get up, get dressed, and get out the door on a Monday morning?
an hour.
Okay. What is the single worst financial mistake you see women make during marriage?
Not knowing.
One word to describe the energy in a high net worth mediation room.
Intense.
Coffee, matcha, tea, or Red Bull?
Coffee and tea. Coffee in the morning and then iced tea throughout the day.
Okay. If you weren't a top family attorney, what would your alternate dream career be?
Definitely something in mental health, like psychology.
Psychology, right?
I like helping people.
Yeah.
I like trying to figure out what makes people tick
Yeah.
and having them be better.
Yeah.
Getting people through things and having them come out the other end.
It's a real privilege.
I'm fortunate that I've had a lot of people who have gone through the worst of times. And at the end, I've been able to see them move on and flourish. And I've been to weddings of former clients, right?
Amazing.
Countless times. And to be there and to experience that feels great. I mean, I tell people all the time, especially when someone's really angry, and I understand getting divorced, sometimes the circumstances are not great. And you rightfully have a lot of anger about it. You're upset. You feel brokenhearted. But I always try to remind people this, especially if you have a child or children with this person, this is not the end of your story. This is a chapter of your book together, and you have so many chapters to write together.
Mm-hmm.
So write the best chapter you can. Write a chapter that when you read it 20 years from now, or when your kids read it 20 years from now, you can be proud of.
I love that. Melanie, thank you for being here.
Oh my God, thank you for
Honestly,
having me.
She's, like I always say, she is the friend that you absolutely is the best friend to have, but you never want to need her. You don't want to need her.
Yeah.
And just a little tidbit on her, she throws the best Christmas party of the
it's
year.
a fun one.
Of the year.
It's
It is
a
the
fun
party of the year. But anyway, I absolutely adore you.
Oh,
Thank you for coming
feelings
on and
mutual.
sharing it,
Of
because again,
course.
we want to empower women and
Yes.
men. I mean, again, we want to empower you to live your best life.
Exactly.
So thank you for being here. I love you
Yes,
so
I
much.
love you too. Thank you
guys,
for having me.
Thank you. We'll be back next week. And please hit the like button, leave a comment for us. Any questions for Melanie that you have, I can get those answers for you. Please spread the word. We are so grateful for you to be here. And thank you for listening. We'll see you next week. Bye. Mwah.